everybody, welcome to R&B Reviews. I'm Rob, and since the summer blockbuster season recently ended and we're a little over halfway through the year, I decided now would be a good time to do a video on the best, worst, and disappointing movies of the year so far that I think. And I sent out, as you may know, I recently sent out a video about a month ago asking you, the viewers and regular subscribers, about what would you like me to do with the channel, and some of you said you would like me to do more special videos, so I figured this would be a good time to do one. Now, okay, so let's go ahead and let's get started. All right, let's start with the most disappointing movie of the year so far. Now, this one I really had to think hard on because honestly, there were a lot of movies I was disappointed with this past year. And I gave a lot of movies rented on DVD verdicts. You know, movies are like you could rent, but nothing really something you could just rush to the theater and see that you really got to see on the big screen. And there were some movies I walked in, very excited about, but I ended up leaving the theater a little bit disappointed with. So after doing some careful thinking, I decided that the movie that disappointed me the most this year was Iron Man 2. Now, the first film was funny and with some crisp, great screwball dialogue, and got me on the edge of my seat with some of the action scenes with that film. I mean, this sequel had some good action scenes as well, like a scene that takes place on a racetrack, but the movie I just could not connect to. I thought that it was unfocused, and the film throws a lot of characters and subplots at you, and I felt a lot of the actors weren't really given that much to do, like Scarlett Johansson and Mickey Rourke, who a great actor that he is. I felt he wasn't given much to do either, but when he's on the screen, it's definitely worth it. And honestly, I thought he was the most interesting character out of the whole film, but after a while he gets pushed into the back of the movie and he disappears for a little bit so that other subplots can go forward. I wanted to see more of him and Robert Downey Jr. together. I mean, in one scene where Rourke is in jail and Stark goes to visit him, I felt that there was just some real good tension-filled in the conversation between the two of them, and I would like to have seen more of that. Sam Rockwell's also in the movie. He plays Stark's cunning rival, if you can call him that, and he makes a few appearances, but like Rourke, he disappears for a lot of the story too. The film was just not as funny as the first film, and it just lacked the humorous dialogue from Stark and Pepper Potts, and there was just too much going on here that it was just hard for me to get into. So that movie just really disappointed me. Best movie of the year so far. Okay. My pick for the best movie of the year so far, now this should not come as a complete surprise to you guys, especially if you regularly watch the reviews on the channel, but my pick for the best movie of the year so far is The Kids Are Alright. Yeah, I know some of you probably were thinking I was going to say Inception, but Inception was a good movie, but I thought Kids Are Alright was a much better film. It's that independent film that had Julianne Moore and Annette Bening playing a lesbian couple with two children from the same sperm donor, played by Mark Ruffalo. The film just stayed with me after I left the movie theater, and it made me think for a long time about, after I saw the film, I asked myself what happened, how did it happen, why the characters did the things they did, and what they meant by some of the things that they said. And the acting all around was very good. The characters each had different but very distinctive personalities, which I thought made the film enjoyable, and the characters all will go through some sort of change. The movie had some nice warm moments, painful ones, and it held my interest with several points of the story. So it was released in a few small theaters, and then it was given a somewhat wider release. I actually, when I reviewed the film, I got a few comments from a few people saying that they actually had never heard of this movie until I reviewed it. So if you couldn't see this movie because it didn't come to your area, or you actually had never heard of it, I definitely recommend checking it out on DVD. I really, really liked it, and I hope you do too. And now, the worst movie of the year so far. Man. This was another topic that I had to think long and hard on, because there were a couple of movies that I really, really didn't like, and I had one in at one point, and then I changed my mind and put another one in. But after some long thinking and picking the movie that I actually had a hard time sitting through and really did not enjoy the picture at all, that worst movie of the year so far, I'm going to give to The Wolfman, which came out back in March. The film had some suspense, and it had some moody photography, and there was some gore all over the top gore for the modern horror fan, but the film just felt cluttered, and the acting for the most part was not very good. I mean, take Benicio del Toro. He plays Lawrence Talbot in the film, and he was just so stiff and cardboard-like, you know. And Anthony Hopkins, you know, he's a great actor. Don't get me wrong. I like Anthony Hopkins. He's great here, but in this movie, he was just. It was just like he was not putting any effort into it. It was like he was just reading off of a cue card, and that he didn't care. But I mean, I did hear some stories that when the original director signed on to this film, he was really gung-ho for it. He was really excited, and he really wanted to do this movie. But then when the original director got fired and they brought in someone else, his enthusiasm kind of went down, and he didn't care anymore. But he decided to stay with the movie anyway, I guess just to get a paycheck. But if that story's true, that's probably why he just looks so bored and not caring, not putting in an effort into his performance. And I felt like I would have liked to see him at least put something into it. But my biggest pet peeve with this movie was in the old 1941 version of the Wolfman, nobody knows who the Wolfman is, and it creates some suspense. But in this remake, everybody knows who the Wolfman is before he becomes the Wolfman, before he turns into the Wolfman. And I thought that really took out a lot of suspense. And there was this lecture scene which I really rolled my eyes at, that I thought was just, oh man. This movie was not very good in my opinion. I did not like it at all. So, well, let me go ahead and give you guys a recap of the best, worst, and disappointing films of the year so far for me. My pick for the most disappointing movie of the year so far, Iron Man 2. The best movie of the year so far, I would give to The Kids Are Alright, and the worst movie of the year so far, I would give to The Wolfman. And that movie, if I do a top 5 or top 10 list of the worst movies of 2010, I'll probably put that in there somewhere, maybe at the top, who knows. But yeah, those are my picks, so you guys know what to do. Leave your comments. Tell me what you think were the best, worst, disappointing movies of the year so far for you, or post comments about this video. You know, and I greatly appreciate it. I read everything you guys send in, so go ahead and do so. And thank you very much for watching. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. And hopefully I'll see you next time on R&B Reviews.